Hello and welcome to Absolute Trust Talk. I am Kirsten Howe. I'm the managing attorney at Absolute Trust Counsel, and with me here today is one of our associates, Jessica Colbert. If you've watched this podcast before, you've seen Jessica a number of times. We've been doing a number of probates and getting some interesting feedback lately, and we decided we really ought to do a series of kind of short episodes about fundamentals of probate. This one today is our second episode in that series. We did another one a little while back. This is our second one, as I said. Today we're going to talk about what is a will. So the first thing you need for a probate, of course, is a dead person. We are lawyers, not doctors, so we don't really worry too much about that. We just need a death certificate and then we're good to go. But really, when we're doing a probate, the first thing we need is a will. And we often do probates where there is no will, and that's also possible. And I'm sure we'll do an episode about that someday. But today we're just going to talk about what exactly is a will. Jessica, what is a will?
A will is a document written by the dead person, the decedent, or the person who creates the will is also called the testator. So it's a written document created by the testator, and it is hand signed by the testator. And, everyone's seen on movies, TVs. It's typically something that lays out what the person wants to happen to their property upon their death.
Okay. And you said hand signed. So the law around wills is very old. It doesn't take into account much in the way of modern technology. And by modern technology, I mean typewriters, let alone DocuSign and all those things. The person whose will it is has to actually sign the will with a pen in their hand.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So all you Gen Z, you're someday going to have to pick up a pen. And related to that, not an email.
No, email is not going to work. Again, you need that wet ink pen in hand signature. There are some states that are moving more towards electronic wills. California is not on that route yet. Maybe someday, but for now, we need that ink signature.
Okay. And I actually worked on a case a little while ago where someone was trying to make the claim that a text message, on a phone was a will.
I bet it failed.
They didn't go too far with it. Okay, now, so what if we have someone who wants to make a will, but they can't sign their name? They may have difficulty holding a pen, or maybe they've had a stroke. They just can't even move their hand or arm.
So if it's a case where someone can still hold a pen, but maybe it's difficult to sign their full name, they can sign by a mark. So if someone's able to make an X for their name, that is perfectly fine. If they're not able to hold a pen at all, they can still make a will. They can direct someone else to sign for them. So that person has to be directed by the testator, the person making the will, to sign their name, and also has to do it in the presence of the testator when they sign the name.
Okay. And I think this is a good time to talk about witnesses, because that sounds kind of shady, or it has the potential for abuse, is what I would say. And we know, I think everybody knows that wills often have witnesses. We, of course, know because we're lawyers. But talk about the role of witnesses.
So the witnesses, there's typically two. I'll talk a little bit about how there can be differences in witnesses depending on the type of will. The witnesses are typically there just to make sure that it actually happens. The person creating the will actually did sign it. There isn't any abuse, someone saying, oh, they directed me to sign their name to this will. The witnesses would be there to authenticate that, basically. So there are two different types of wills. The standard will that we do every day requires 2 witnesses. But there is a different type called a holographic will, which does not require any witnesses. The only requirements of that is that the testator sign it in their handwriting, and also that the material provisions, like who the property is going to, is also in the handwriting, but no witnesses.
Okay. And we call that holographic, meaning it's written by the person. So a completely handwritten will on a piece of paper, testator all by himself signs it. That is a valid will. But if it's anything other than that, such as the wills we write for people, we write them in our software and then they come in and sign them.
Right. It's
not handwritten by our client. That's when we have to have witnesses. And presumably, well, I guess if it's handwritten, the testator's got the ability to sign his name.
Yeah.
So we're all, I was kind of making a logical leap and then I pulled back. Nope, not going to do that. Okay. Very good. So hopefully that clears up a little bit about what exactly we're talking about when we talk about a will. Thanks, Jessica. And thank you all for joining us. We look forward to connecting with you next time.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com/scheduling. Don't forget to keep an eye out for our next live episode. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcouncil.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.